This conference will now be recorded.
Norma,
Steve Bedard.
Nancy.
Michelle.
we got everybody on? Joanne, do you want to read the list that you have?
Well, so far I have Terry, well, everybody from the board meeting, or I'm sorry, from the board is present. I haven't heard from Jeremy Kellogg though. Is he there?
Not on my list.
Okay, I'm gonna put him as absent. And then so far I have Terry, Megan, Manasseh, Alicia, Alan Heberling, James and Candy Duswalt, John Condino, Charles White. Do you see anybody else, Alicia?
Peter Parker,
Yes, Peter Parker, Dennis Weller, Megan,
Yeah.
I think you said.
John
So whoever
Condino.
color 2 is, I'm sorry, Pam McDowell as well. So color number 2 will be disconnected. They can join back. They just have to enter their name.
This is Charles White. I just want to identify myself with Barton and LaJudas. And I see John Candino also with Barton LaJudas is on the call as well.
Yes, I have both of you too.
I
This
think
is Megan. Can you guys hear me?
everyone's checked in? Okay.
I think so.
Okay, let's go. We did have a police report that Kevin submitted. Does anyone have any questions on that? Michelle, do you have
No.
anything you want to share with us?
They've started the new schedule, so we're covered by the county on Sunday and Monday.
Good, good. Anything else? Terry Jones?
Yes, you all should have you should have the right activity report this week, and I apologize for the last board meeting that I gave you the wrong one. I do want to add that we did go down Friday in those areas at Frank Park that were had been washed out from the Halloween storm. We were finally able to get down there. We got some crushed gravel and put it down along the edge of the dock at Frank Park. So no more trip hazards down there.
Oh, good.
I just wanted the board to know that we got down there to take care of those. And my crew too, we're plugging along and we're getting our things done, and I can't wait to get the rest of my crew back. Also, I've been working on some ideas, and I know Alicia and probably the town board have been working on some regulations of what we will do when we finally do get our crews back. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I've kind of gone through a list, and if anyone wants to know what I've got, I can definitely email somebody or members of the board and let them know what I've come up with. But it's pretty much what the governor's been talking about, the president, and so I think we'll be all on the same page by the time the rest of the town employees and our village employees get back to work. And I have been also sanitizing the municipal building and the highway garage as needed throughout this period of time that we.
Thanks, Terry.
So that's
Megan,
what I have for now.
any questions for Terry?
Good job, Terry. I'm impressed that you've been getting the street cleaner out.
Yeah,
Too
well,
cold now.
I was damned if I was gonna have the sander go back out on Saturday morning. So
Megan, are you with us? Megan?
She's on my screen. Megan, unmute yourself.
Where are you, Megan?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, but you're soft.
Can you hear me any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
All right, I think I might have been caller number 2. I've been having some difficulty. Computer audio says it's working, but it's not working. So I had to call in and I had issues with that. But so everyone can hear me all right?
I hear you
I
fine.
hear.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, well, I guess first on my agenda list, does everybody have a copy of the change order for Continental Construction for the water treatment plant project? This is just the change order going over the over, under, and liquidated damages that we're retaining for the delays associated with the filter plant. So it's a change order is for, we'll be returning $45,371 to the project budget. So I was hoping to get board approval to get that approved by the village and get it sent off to everybody else.
Can we do a motion right now, Megan? Would somebody make
Yeah,
that
that would be
motion?
great.
Yeah. Would
Yep.
someone make the motion for this change order for Continental?
I'll make the motion. Steve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Nancy seconds.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Megan, you're good to go on
Right.
Continental.
Wonderful. I think the next on the to-do agenda for me would be the rate increase for the sewer fixed rates. I'm requesting board approval starting July 1 to increase the sewer fixed rates by $22.68 for the sewer project that we're currently undergoing. These costs will help pay for the loans associated with that.
I have a couple questions on that.
Yep.
When you $22, is that per tax per water bill or per?
No.
year?
That's for the whole year. So your water bill or your sewer bill portion will only be increased, $22.68 divided by 3 per billing cycle.
Okay, and the other is that's per EDU, right?
Correct. So if you have 2 EDUs, you'll be paying twice that for each billing cycle.
Now
It came
you
out.
said,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Originally, Megan, when we've been asking about how things are going to get paid for, you kept saying you have enough money in your budget balance to take care of everything, and now saying that we need to up the amount of money we're collecting in order to pay some loans off, which kind of confused me.
These are not existing loans. This is what is going to be happening at the conclusion of the wastewater treatment plant project that we will be undergoing. Well, it's already undergoing, but construction won't be starting till later this year. So this isn't a past thing that we need to increase rates for. This is something that's going forward. We will be having a sewer payment that will be that will need additional funding to pay the annual payments for. And all of that was described in the engineering reports. Like it was described that, this will be the increase per EDU to offset the costs of the loans that we have to take out for the project to get done.
And you're saying that every other year you're going to increase the EDUs.
Yes, and as we're increasing the EDUs, we are also going to be taking funds from our reserve and unassigned fund balance to help offset the fees. So it's a gradual increase, it's a huge increase all at once, and it's just every other year to just kind of slowly increase the rates to cover the costs.
I
And
guess,
then still, go on.
I guess my other question is, if we don't start this year, could we put it off a year and start next year?
I ran those
And then do every
numbers.
other
If
year
we
from then?
wait until next year, we're going to increase them by more. So if we have to wait, then we'll be increasing it by a higher percentage. So it won't be a
Michelle?
$22 increase. It'll be 25 or 26, whatever it offsets.
We had a discussion about this at our last meeting,
Correct.
and one of the
I guess I'm
things,
still, I guess I'm not as comfortable with it I was wavering at the meeting, and I guess my discomfort level came back the more I thought about it.
well, this is all part of that asset management plan that the draft that we have that Megan put together for us. And they have taken out of their fund balance in the sewer like $167,000 for different projects that we've been working on right along. So I don't know, it would make it $115.56 for an EDU, sewer EDU now, right, Megan?
That would be for inside the village, and that would be per period. Yes.
Right. And then I noticed, Joanne, on that sheet that you included in the package of the water rates, the one for the outside user wasn't increased. That should be 144.45.
The outside user, I believe it was increased.
Yeah, I got this from Alicia. She edited to the rates that we decided on.
The one
I
that
don't know
was,
where it came from, but it needs to be corrected, and
I
before
believe
we put it
existing
out there.
outside user rates is $405 per year, so it was increased to $427.68.
Well, I came up with 144.45 for an EDU.
I'm not sure what
And it
that
came-
number is from.
Well, we want to make sure that it's correct before it goes out there.
This is the new rate sheet. And the 427.68 for sewer outside village is in there. Inside village is 346.68. And that's per year. Per period, it will be 115.56 for inside and 142.56 for outside.
And that's the correct numbers, because the existing sewer rates is $324 for inside village and $405 for outside the village. So you just would increase both of those by $22.68, and that would equate to what's been discussed.
Correct.
Okay, so do we all agree that that's where we're at?
Well, I have a question. This is Nancy. If we pass this motion tonight for the increase of $22.68, in 2023, there's an increase of $24.27. By passing this tonight, does that automatically mean we passed it for the entire duration? Meaning up to 2033? Or is it going to come in front of the board every 2 years?
It'll be every 2 years, because things are going to change. So depending on, because all of these projections are based on our expected revenue and expected O&M costs and fees, so all that is factored into that. So things that change. And also I'm looking to get additional grant for this project. So if I'm successful, that could potentially shift some of the increases, hopefully in the downward direction, is what I've been working on the past couple months. So no, this
All
is
right,
just
so
for this time, and
just for
every
this
other
time.
year going forward, I'll recalculate it and present the new increase that we need.
I think another
Because I
thing we
know,
got, go ahead.
I know that 15 years from now seems like an awfully long time, and it is, and who knows if I'll even be on the earth. But $496 per EDU in the year 2034 is rather high. So I'd like to see us, if we pass this tonight, I think it is prudent for the board to really start looking at what's going on at the water and sewer treatment plants. I understand we have a tremendous amount of projects, but we've got to keep the rates in a place where the public can afford this. And someone like the hotel that has 53 EDUs right now. Now, I understand next year they could have 28, but the next year they could have 65. So I think it's prudent for the board to continue to look at this. I'll pass it tonight reluctantly, but I think it's very important for the board to keep their eye on it.
My big concern is that not only are we isolating socially, but we have a lot of people who haven't been able to access their unemployment as of this point. You know, our village is not, I mean, if we're looking at the villagers, at the residents, which should be our priority, our village is not wealthy. And I worry, again, about chasing people away from their homes because they can no longer afford them. And I worry about creating hardship at a time when a lot of people are already experiencing hardship, which is what I said at the last meeting. You know, if it's really that important, I'll approve it, but with extreme reluctance and with only with the understanding that it's not a given that every 2 years there's going to be an increase. Because frankly, if I'm still in my home at that date that Nancy was talking about, I won't be able to afford it.
Any other comments?
I have a comment, Norma. I don't want to interrupt. I think it's important that you have the conversation about the future years and how you're going to determine how you're going to move forward on that. But just for fact checking, the motion was already made at the last meeting to approve this current increase. It's in the transcript. So if you chose to change that at this time, you'd have to rescind that motion first.
Which I would be
already approved.
And I'm well aware of that. I think that it's still prudent upon the board members to continue to look at these things. And sometimes we get rushed into making these decisions. And we were rushed into that one because it only came, a week before we talked about the budget. So I fully understand what you're saying, but I don't want you to, we have the right to keep looking at this.
Absolutely.
So yes, I'll pass it for
factual
tonight.
purposes, it was important to know that there was already a motion. So
Which I think we were aware of that, but thank you.
Because I'm not sure it was in the minutes. So I guess that's why.
It wasn't in the minutes, and that's why we need to, when we get to the consent agenda, we need to amend the minutes to include that motion.
Yeah, that was my point. Sorry, I should have started with that.
And
okay.
just so you guys know, we are kind of like on the sewer end of things. That we manage our budgets and we do it well, and we're always looking for ways to decrease costs and optimize our processes so we can try and minimize these type of rate increases. But these rate increases are directly associated with improvements that had to be made to become in compliance with the Department of Conservation. So it was, these aren't voluntary improvements that we're just doing without understanding the consequences of it. We take them really to heart, and it's not something that it's never a good thing to say, yeah, let's increase rates, and that's understandable. But it's one of those things that just had to be done to get this project moving and improve public and environmental health for the village of Clayton and become in compliance again.
The timing is awful.
That. What was that?
The timing is awful.
I know, and we talked about it because I was I was concerned about that as well, with everything that's going on in the world, but it came down to if we don't do it now, it'll be more later. So, you know, and if you break it down, so $22 increase over a whole year for most single family households, that's only a couple dollars extra per bill. It's not a significant amount, and I'm hoping that in the next couple years things will balance back out, and by time it's time to increase rates again, it's not going to just add to an additional way of hardship on residents.
Do you have anything else, Megan?
That's what I had for the rate portions. I had a couple updates as far as water treatment plant goes, just to keep everybody in the loop because it's been a while since I talked to everybody. So I'll just give a quick couple updates. Treatment plant, the generator is on site and in the process of being installed. The transfer switch won't be here until the end of the month to be installed, but we should be able to wrap up that part of the project. And everything with the filters has gone well so far. There's just a couple things that need to be done by Kester, and all of that will be taken care of as well. So we're pretty close to wrapping up the water treatment plant project. Other than that, I don't think I had anything of note to bring up unless the board had any additional questions for me.
I'm okay.
Megan,
how about everybody else?
Megan, I do. Are you going to bring up the resolution?
Oh, Manasseh's on the phone too. Who's?
Oh, okay. So he's going to do the resolution. Okay, sorry.
Yep, no, it's all right.
Okay. So you're all set,
Stop,
Megan?
stop.
It was
Wait,
nice to hear
stop,
from you.
stop. Hello? This is
we
Nancy.
got?
Did we make a motion? Did we make the motion to approve the new water rates and everybody vote on it? Or did we
Well,
just?
we already did that, Nancy. We did it at
You
the
did.
last meeting.
I understand, then why did we put it? Okay, fine. I'm just making sure that it was done properly.
We've got to amend the minutes so the written minutes show that we did that. I've had trouble with my email, and I haven't had email and minutes and all that until today. And that's when I noticed that there wasn't anything in the minutes that reflected that. So we'll have to.
Alicia? I'm sorry to interrupt, but Alicia, can we go ahead and make a motion to approve this at this meeting and just go from here?
I mean, I suppose you could, but the reality is you actually already did it at your last meeting.
Right.
So it makes sense to amend those minutes because that's where it was done. It's in the transcript, Joanne, that I sent you. I pulled it up and that's where I just found it again. There was a motion made. Steve made the motion and I'd have to pull it up again to see who seconded it, but it was already made and it is in the transcript.
Okay, I did miss it because I didn't have the transcript part of it, but I know I did miss it, but I just didn't know if we could just go ahead and make a motion again at this meeting and do it. But
I think we need to have the transcript and the minutes be the same.
okay.
So we need to amend the minutes from the last meeting to include that motion. So that was the April 27th meeting. Is there anything else on the consent agenda we want to change? If not, can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion, Norma.
Thank you. Second? Do we have a second on the consent agenda?
I'll second. Michelle.
Michelle,
Yes, second.
All in
Yep,
favor?
Yep.
All in
Yep.
Aye.
favor? Aye. Okay, consent agenda is done. We have a couple other guests on the phone here. John Condino, are you with us still?
I am still with you, absolutely.
That's great. Do you want to bring everybody up to speed on where we are with the Ready Grant and what's happened?
I would enjoy doing that. Yes, hopefully we've got some good news tonight. Actually, I just wanted to let the board know it's been a couple months since we've been able to report, and in that 2 months, we've actually made some very significant progress on both ends, both the Ready project and the FEMA project. Luckily, this pause situation hasn't deterred us from keeping these projects going. On the Ready side, one of the more significant things that we were able to accomplish is we did get the underwater survey done from Hunt Underwater Specialties. They did a great job. Of significance, what we have done with that is we've confirmed that the Frink Memorial Dock is actually, there's really no damage to that. So the hope is that the money that was in that project grant award will be able to be shifted to the other projects. A lot of it being, we hope that we can use that money to complete the Mary Street main dock replacement that has been proposed. In addition to that, we're also able to get the survey crew from Albertine and Courier on site. They've been on site for a couple of weeks, and I think should be actually probably finishing up in the next week or so to be able to get that information to us, to our crew, so that we can actually start design on it. In addition to that, we had a pre-application meeting with the regulatory agencies today and with the Department of State folks. Went very well. There didn't appear to be any significant issues that were brought forth from a permitting standpoint. All the agencies seem pretty cooperative in understanding, what our conceptual designs amount to at this point. They had some good input, some good comments. And on the FEMA project side, actually, we've been working on a weekly basis with the folks from FEMA and Homeland Security in the state. Our design team has actually been on site in the last couple of weeks, and we'll quickly be getting to work putting together the bid and spec the spec and bid documents, hopefully at some point once we get FEMA's final approval to get that out to bid this year, along with the work that was not completed from the 2017 effort. So things are all going very well with both of those efforts. One of the things that I really wanted to point out tonight in conjunction with those efforts is that we will be submitting amendments to both our current contracts for the Ready project and also for the FEMA project to include the balance of our design and engineering efforts for those two contracts. We're in the process of preparing those amendments now and would want to put those in front of the board for I think the next meeting is May 26th.
Is that Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, May 26th. So in a couple of weeks, we will have those two amendments before the board, which will be, hopefully one of the last real big administrative efforts that'll have to occur, so we can continue with both those projects. Anybody have any questions for us? Go ahead.
John, bring up that we had the diver on site. That's kind of how the regional dock, they discovered there wasn't a lot wrong down there.
Yes, yeah, we did have the underwater investigation done by Hunt Underwater Specialties, and they did not only the Frink dock, but also the damaged portion of the Riverwalk, the entire Riverwalk, and also they did a wonderful job over at the Mary Street dock, pointing out, frankly, the current condition of the substructure in that dock, basically confirming that frankly the dock is of an age and condition that thank God you're going to have the funds to replace it and start new with that. So all good news, really, in the end.
Any questions for John?
John?
Yep.
Yes. I do have a quick question. It's Nancy Hyde, what you just said.
Yes,
It's a
Nancy.
good thing we're going to have funds to replace the Mary Street dock. What's like the whole dock?
Like the whole
Or
dock.
just the crib portion, or?
You know, actually,
Pardon
what
me?
we discovered, we were calling it we were actually we were of the understanding that it may have been built on cribs, but actually that dock is built on pilings. And it has had a series of repairs over the last few decades. Frankly, it's a combination of wooden and steel pilings, and it really needs to. When you take a good look at that substructure, it really is evident that there's been a lot of damage and weakening done over the years. So the concept is to replace that dock in kind with a new substructure and a new dock, entirely new dock.
Well, I think what we got to keep in mind is when we had to get this information pulled together for ready, we didn't have time to get ready. So we gave them the best information that we had. And then once we got a diver on site, things looked a whole lot different.
Well, and I think that was always anticipated. And we're hopeful that the overall funds that were awarded, which I think amounted to somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6.2 million, certainly will be enough funding to accomplish the raised river walk, excuse me, the wave attenuator, and the Mary Street dock, which, by the way, on the Mary Street dock, what I didn't include was the project over there also includes replacing the fixed dock adjacent to the boat ramp with a floating dock, so that can then adjust as the water levels adjust up and down over the years. So I think we're making great progress on those.
Yeah, I thought the meeting went well today. When you get all those people there, it's a lot of questions. Any questions for John? If not, thanks a lot, John, for calling in tonight.
Not a problem. Glad to be able to do it. And we will have in front of you before the next meeting the two amendments, and we will plan on calling in on the 26th. Okay?
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Manasseh, are you still out there?
Yep, I'm still here, Norma.
Okay, you want to run down what you have?
Yes, I can. Joanne, were you able to get this in front of the board, or should I plan on reading it?
I was able to. I was having email issues also, but I don't. Does the board have the resolution?
So I have a resolution authorizing agreement with Luck Brothers to install sanitary sewer force main between Riverside Drive Pump Station and New York State DOT right away. That on top of your email issues, I mean, we got this over pretty last minute because we just got the revised price from Luck Brothers. But for the board's purposes, I'll go ahead and run through. Basically what this is as part of the wastewater treatment plant, a second force main is being added to the sewer pump station on Riverside Drive. But because New York State DOT has this road opened up during their project, they're going to install the portion that runs in the right of way. The issue is, though, at the pump station itself, they won't do work outside the right of way. So we received a quote from New Century, and then piggybacking off that, we got a quote from Luck Brothers. Luck Brothers is the actual contractor doing work for DOT right now. But we are trying to contract with them directly to do the connection that's outside of the right of way. This will help so that down the road, you guys don't have to tear up brand new sidewalks and put in penetrations where all this work is being completed downtown. So the quote for this work is $17,807.55. And just to give you a little backup on that, the New Century quote was $43,000. So it is a very reasonable quote for the work that's being asked. The remainder of the work that they're doing within the right-of-way portion, the board's already approved, and that check has been sent to DOT for that work. So this is just for the connection to the pump station outside the right of way. And the resolution is requesting that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Clayton authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with Luck Brothers for the amount of $17,807.55 to perform the work outside the DOT right of way to install the new force main. So that's the resolution.
Any guess why it's such extreme differences between the two companies?
Yeah, New Century is an electrical contractor. This isn't really what they're outfitted for. The reason we asked them to do the work is because they're the ones doing all the other work outside the right of way for the village for the electrical connections. So they were already on site, they're already boring holes and installing stuff. So we thought it would make sense to ask them, but they actually don't have the equipment to open up the ground and actually do all that work. So they were subbing a good portion of it out, which was just driving the price up. So Luck Brothers is on site with the necessary equipment, so it just makes sense to have them go ahead and, rather than tying on to something New Century is doing, they can just take it all the way. It'll just be under two separate contracts.
Okay.
Any other questions for Manassa on this?
What budget pays for this?
So this will come out of the wastewater treatment plant project, which is currently under design and being worked on, but this would fall under that. Will be submitted to EFC.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to do a roll call vote for this resolution? Joanne?
Yes, sorry. Mayor,
Yes.
Trustee Grabowski,
Yes.
Trustee Hyde,
Yes.
Trustee Bedore,
Yes, absolutely.
and Jeremy Kellogg is absent.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, what else you got, Manassa? There was that easement. Did that get pushed forward?
Yep. So let me see if I can pull that up quick.
I didn't see, I've had a lot of email issues, so I have not seen it.
Yeah, I do have it. So there, I'll go ahead and talk about it as I'm pulling it up. And this is something that we intended to get in front of you too. Again, this issue just came up last week and we've been working through it all week. But basically the monument down on John Street, it has the lights in it, that lighthouse. And those lights are fed through a conduit that goes underground that feeds off a pole right there behind racks. And as part of this project, that pole is going to be going away and there will be no connection for that to be made. So the issue is that there's no place down there to put a meter to feed that conduit so that that monument stays lighted. So we had reached out to Mr. Howland at RACS, and he agreed to allow the village to install a meter on the back of RACS out of sight. So it's not on Riverside Drive, it's not on John Street, but on the backside of his building. And so we reached out to Joe Russell and put together a easement that would allow that connection to be made, and we're going to ask that he would sign off on that easement. And so we were just asking, I guess on that one, Joe's approved it, just approval on the village's end to move forward with that easement.
Does anyone have any questions for Manassa on that? mean, it's great that Dick Holland gave us permission to do that, but going down the road, if somebody besides Dick Holland owns that building, it would be good to have this in writing, that we've got an easement for this.
That would be, that's a nice gesture to do that, and that'd be a great thing. We should have it in writing, and we should thank him for it too.
So,
Agreed, Steve.
did you have a question, Michelle?
No.
So we need a motion to approve the easement to move
I'll
forward?
make the motion.
Steve makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And we'll get
Aye.
that going. Thanks a lot. That was great to get that done so quickly.
Yeah, I
Vanessa.
think that, I mean, we kind of came down to the wire. It was one of those little things that nobody really caught it through the whole process of this thing, and it just kind of popped up, hey, we're here, and this needs to be addressed. So it was a lot of teamwork, people working together, and the village really coming in, and I think this is going to work great.
Vanessa? I don't know if I was included in on an email with the easement, so could you forward me that just for my records?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. I think that's
Are
all
we all
I
set,
have,
Vanessa?
Yeah, other than that, I mean, just the update with the DOT project, they're plugging along, everything's on budget as far as the stuff that they're, even though they've encountered a lot of things, we've really addressed them on a one-on-one basis, but they're doing great. Everything's going well. I think at this point they're ahead of schedule. Even though they keep running into things that are slowing them down, I think they were able to work through much of the winter and really keep a good pace. And with traffic being slower now and less people around, they're able to continue that good pace. So all good
I
stuff on
thought
that
that,
end.
go ahead.
No,
At the meeting the other day, they did say they were ahead of schedule, but the good news is about the 1st of June, they're going to put some blacktop down in the project, so it will look a little better, won't be so dusty, easier to get around, so people can start coming. It'll look a little better. Then they can work in each section. They'll have to take it off, but some blacktop down there is going to help.
Yep. Yeah, they'll get some blacktop. I think they're going to do the curbing before that with the blacktop to follow, and then the final finishing touches for those areas will be like sidewalks and lighting and stuff of that nature. But on the road front, that'll definitely be a huge improvement.
Yeah. And they also mentioned too the 4-way stop that we talked about at the last meeting. That has gone on to DOT in Watertown, and they're working on it, but they're aware of it as well. Does the board have any questions for Manassa?
No, I don't. No.
Not
Okay.
All set.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you, Manassa.
Thank you.
Okay. On the capital projects, we're going to need a motion to approve those. Somebody make the motion to approve.
I'll make the
capital project.
motion. I'll make the motion.
Nancy made the
second
motion.
it.
I made the motion.
I'll
And a
second it.
Steve seconds. Okay. All in favor for item number 4 for capital projects?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, Joanne, it's all up to you.
Okay. I need to set a public hearing for the adoption of the local law to abolish the position of the village justice. And then I publish it in the TI Sun, and we adopt it at the next public hearing. So what date would everyone want to do this on? The next board meeting? I can put it before the board meeting.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, we want to remember Tuesday is the board meeting the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
I'm not going anywhere. I think I'll be here for it.
Wish we could
Okay,
all
so
do something. Okay, so we're going to make it at 6 o'clock, or do you want to do 5:30, whatever?
Yeah, let's do it right in the very beginning. It makes more sense.
5:30 on the 26th, public hearing.
Okay. Public
Okay.
hearing. Okay, thank you. 20, okay. So, everyone asked me to come up with a plan, and everyone gave me some ideas, and I thank everyone for that. The first one, to discuss how the office is gonna run when we reopen. The window and phone hours, I came to a time frame of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Terry is going to order a blind and install a blind for me for the window so I can close that. I thought that adding another drop box out in the front would be helpful to the residents to pay their water and village taxes when they come in. There is one on the side already, but having one in the front, a lot of older people park right out front, and if they came up to the door and it was locked and they saw the drop box, they might not get so frustrated if they have to walk around to the side. They can just drop it right there.
Why don't we move the one that's on the side?
Well, people come to they already know that that's there. So they may come to the side and that won't be there. It'll be over to the front. If a lot of people know it's already there, so they go there to drop it in, and then it's not there, it's out front, and now they're,
I don't think it would be terrible to do a second drop box.
Have one on either side.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Terry said the DPW made that one, so maybe they can come up with another one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they can. Did Terry leave? Probably left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if those guys can make one, I don't know.
I'll ask them about it.
Nancy will check with Terry and see. Nancy, you're going to check with Terry?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, I will. Yep.
Okay. And then I wonder, probably should order some signs. I know some other businesses are opening, but they've got the signs up where just kind of be conscious of the social distancing and, I don't know about any other signs other than wearing a mask and social distancing. So, because not a lot of people come, I'm not worried about a crowd of people really too much, but just, I think that it would be good to have those signs up. If anyone was to get sick, we're going by the rules.
Absolutely.
Joanne, that's all part of the return to work packet that's being worked on. So those signs are
really?
included. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was a packet being worked on.
There's a packet being worked on.
By whom?
That would be me. We talked about it at our last meeting.
Right.
Oh. Okay, so then I just suggest no public bathroom use for the summer, for at least this summer, maybe next summer, but as far as this summer, and no events in the building for the summer. I really don't think that we should, have anybody really come in for a crowd of people and then expect someone to have to clean unless we hire someone to clean the building. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but that's how I would feel.
I think you're right on top of everything.
And
I agree with what you're saying, Joanne. I do have a question for the board and the mayor. We allow approximately 6 different groups to use the municipal building. My personal opinion is they should not have that use this summer either. And that would be TOPS, the Chamber, the Rotary, the Marjan Ladies, Girl Scout, and WIC. If we decide that yes, they have to be in there and have their meetings, then we need to have a cleaner in there the next day in the morning to get it cleaned and sanitized. I don't think it's appropriate to put that extra work upon Joanne.
Or upon the DPW.
Oh, correct, yeah, yes, no, I would agree with that. So,
So that would go right along with, for this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. I think we
yes,
should,
yes.
well, Alicia's working on how getting back into things, so that'll be a good thing to get out there, let them know we're not doing it.
I think we need to
Okay.
do that pretty quickly because especially WIC is going to have to really look hard for another place.
They've gotten along without coming, I don't know how they're doing it, what they're doing now.
They're probably just mailing stuff.
Now that might be, I have no idea. I've got a phone number so we can call them.
Alicia, is there, in the packet, is it going to have, like a notice that goes to the TI Sun, or is Chris gonna be notified with this through Savvy Citizen, or should we come up with a separate notification for how we're gonna reopen?
Well, I think once it's determined when that date's going to be and how that's going to function, that you would work with Norma to put a notice together for the paper and to send it to Chris. And yes, he would put it on the website in the Savvy Citizen. That's not something I'm necessarily going to give you in this packet. The packet is the employee return to work packet. So it's
Okay.
more specific to employees in the workplace, not to the public necessarily.
Okay.
Although there's things that will be included with reference to the public. It's not a document that'll be provided to the public.
Okay, so things like signs and things will be in the packet, though?
The signs that you were discussing, yes. If there's additional things that are going to be determined that we want to put into place, then that would have to be figured out. But I assume that'll be something that you and Norma will work out.
Okay.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we need to make sure we let people know that we regret the inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I still think we can request that people not pay cash for the time being. Because, I mean, how do they pay their National Grid bill or other bills? They can't pay everything with cash.
Well, we really
Yes.
don't recommend them put cash in the Dropbox.
Exactly.
But
I don't know, we can't convince the renters to pay.
I know that Joanne insists on cash, so.
Yeah. I'm not turning $1,000 away because it's $100 bills.
So, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring all that stuff up because I was asked to, and some people
that's
gave me
good.
some ideas and whatnot, but yeah, I
That's
just
a good
thought
job.
that.
We had a discussion today, Joanne and I did, and Alicia, and starting Monday, because Joanne is the only employee in that office, she's going to start working like her regular hours, just to kind of get things organized before the 1st of June, when maybe things will open up a little bit and we'll be ready for the public.
That sounds fine to me.
So
I think that's great. I would just reiterate, I think, Joanne, you've done a good job putting together information. We want to make sure that we do it properly, because what we don't need is anyone saying, you know, I got the coronavirus when I went over to the municipal building because they didn't da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever that may be. And I
Right.
think, unfortunate, not because I think people are so happy, but I think once things open up, there'll be a greater tendency for, where did I get it from? Well, geez, the only place I went was the municipal building.
The other thing
So
is,
we need
they're setting up that task
we
force.
need to protect ourselves, and we need to protect ourselves, our employees, and the public.
Well, that's
altogether.
why I
I
was,
think it
and
can't be
that's why I
taken
think,
lightly. So yes, I agree with you.
and that's why I think signs are important, you know, that we have those signs out there, you know, stating, you know, you have to have a mask or social distancing, or, you know, whatever it may be, that, you know, if someone was to say that, we could say, well, we had every sign out there where we're supposed to, you know,
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. So,
And we've been following the rules.
yes, yeah. But I do think we need to be careful.
Yeah, thanks, Joanne, for putting that together. And you did get the new lease for the renters that we have up at the water
Yes.
treatment plant. Does anyone have any questions? They're excellent tenants. They're 2 days ahead of the due date to pay their rent. But leave it just the way it is. Just change the dates on it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was good, except for, and maybe I'm reading this incorrectly, but under number 5, it says lease payments. The annual rent shall be in the sum of $10,800, and then parentheses, $12,000. So I think that just needs to be corrected, unless I'm reading it incorrectly.
No, you're right there. Yes. Yeah.
So I would just correct that, but I'm not the least bit interested in increasing their rent
No.
this year.
Right. Okay.
So we'll make that
All right,
correction.
Yeah,
We'll
that's,
get Joanne
thanks
to
for
sign.
noticing that. Thanks for noticing that, Nancy. And I do want to just let everyone know that anything you see, any word spelt wrong, whatever, just let me know, because I'm really going to be hurrying a lot to get these things done, these extra things I have to do now. And, you know, I may forget something. You can remind me. You know, I won't take offense to anything. So, you know, and your help, Alicia, has been great, and I hope that you'll have time to still help me. So,
Okay, all set on the rent. And then I did send out earlier the information that NICOM gave us if the governor should decide to give an extra 21 days for paying the village tax without penalty. Can I sign that paper to encourage him to do that?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be an executive order to happen, but they want as much support through NICOM to see if we can get him to do it.
I would say
Yes,
send
I fully support this, yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'll do that tomorrow. Get that out to him. Does anyone else have anything?
I have a couple comments. Nothing negative. I think at this point, now that we have the budget done, as a board, we need to decide what our priorities are. We seem to be vacillating a lot between cutting costs, worrying about what's good for village residents, and tourism, which is our one of our economic bases, seems to be a very low priority right now. And I think whether it's all summer or a month, we need to be sensitive to the needs of tourists, to the way things look. Just, you know, so that we've made our reputation on being inviting and friendly and very family oriented. And I have a few fears that we're neglecting that piece of who we are right now as a board. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And then the other thing, which makes real sense to me, if we're cutting costs this year, my experience with NICOM has been that they're very welcoming and very helpful, and we can use their attorneys for free. And I'm not trying to run Joe out of business, but I think whenever we can cut a financial corner by using NICOM, we need to be more conscious of their availability and utilize them a little more. Those are my 2 comments for the day.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else?
And I agree on, the both of your comments, Michelle, and I certainly agree on the use of the lawyers, because we have spent a tremendous amount of money and $20, $30 just to look at something that may be insignificant, or phone calls. I do think we should monitor that more closely, especially that he has swayed us or pushed us in wrong directions over the last few years for certain issues. So I think that's very needs to be looked at. And I also think we need to look at how much money it costs us to have the DANK people and any other engineers at our meetings, and when we start coming in person, I don't know, do we pay these guys mileage? I don't know any of this. And if we do, then maybe they need to come to us by telephone like we're doing now. But I think we need to look at that to trim some other areas as opposed to just trimming areas and staff and DPW and things of that nature. And I don't know how all of these guys get paid. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, don't forget, the next meeting's on Tuesday. Oh, Alicia, are you still there? Where did she go?
I'm here.
Do we want to do a joint meeting on the 8th of June with the town?
Yes, at 5 o'clock, if that would suffice.
Yeah, would that sound okay? We had kind of talked about doing that anyway, and now we can do it.
We were due for one in April, so.
Right. Okay, so we'll just put that on your calendar for June 8th. It'll be 5 o'clock. So we can do the joint meeting before our meeting, okay?
Okay.
Norma, Pete Parker,
Yes?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what do we got, Peter?
Two things. I was noticing that Scott Gray is now our contact for the testing and trying to get Jefferson County open for the North Country section. Apparently, we're not approved yet, unless something happened when they posted it. Are we anywhere close to where Clayton might have a spot for testing? It sounds like the governor's saying the president, you gotta be sick before you can get tested so that we know you're not. But
perhaps I can clarify that a little. They're starting to test more people. The Bay has a testing site for us. So you can go to the Bay, but you still have to be referred, I believe. The other thing is that some of the testing availability is going up. All nursing home patients and staff are going to have to be tested twice a week from now on. So that will increase our testing numbers to get us closer to our goal.
We're not too far off right now.
I saw the count. That was like 416 to
400. Yeah, I think we're 19 people off. Yeah.
Okay. So, but is there something whereby, as we get going, that you folks might be thinking of a central spot? I mean, do we have the Samaritan Medical Outreach, something that's up there on across from the senior citizens? Is that operating, or?
Oh yeah, they're in full swing up there.
Do we refer people to the River Hospital, or?
They have to refer them to either River or Watertown.
Okay, so that's where the central spots are. Okay. And last comment was, you've heard me before on nonprofits and exempt tax people, but I assume they get water bills and are paying their EDUs as opposed to being excused from bills?
Oh, they pay water. Yeah, they have to pay water and sewer just like everybody else.
Okay,
and they don't get a break. They're just a regular customer.
Okay, just looking at ways that some of those folks could start maybe contributing to some of these costs besides using their streets and parking and possibly pick up services. That it's time maybe that nobody gets a free ride. I just anywhere that people can think on something along that line is from me, the taxpayer. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining us.
Good day.
Anything else? Anyone else out there that wants to speak? If not, Dennis Muller, how was the trip home?
It was very good. Got off the airplane as it was snowing. So welcome back. And I got pulled in the driveway as the street sweeper was going by. So
well, that's good. A good thing.
That's
We're
good.
glad to have you home.
Yeah, we're home. So
okay,
I appreciate the invitation to join in. And as I say, from the ready side, I'm looking forward to moving along on that project.
Okay, we need your help, Dennis. You're good at it.
Well, I'll try and do my best. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if everybody's all set, can we have a motion to close the meeting at 6:35?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Michelle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Stay healthy.
Yep,
Okay, see you
definitely.
Wednesday, Joanne.
Oh my God, I do think alcohol is the incident.